Order. Determined there's a quorum present. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. Y'all will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Vasquez, if you will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If y'all don't mind, Tom, do you have the resolution? I'm going to read it right now. We're going to go to item 14. Discussion possible action on a resolution naming March 3rd as William Beckman Day. Mr. Beckman, very, very proud of you. The whole community is very proud of you. I told you a little while ago that we tried to make it the other night at the Opry. We couldn't do it. Well, my wife couldn't make it and she wouldn't let me go. So I couldn't go. We actually were going to try to leave Thursday morning. We fly out of San Antonio at 6:48. I had it planned. We had tickets, the whole thing, and Trevor did say, "You're not really going, are you?" No, I'm just playing. I'm not going. So if you will, Tom, if you will please read the resolution.
Val Verde County Commissioners Court's resolution designating March 3rd, 2023 as the William Beckman Day. Whereas William Beckman Hislop, known as William Beckman professionally, son of Edwin and Tammy Hislop, was raised in Del Rio, Val Verde County, Texas. And whereas William Beckman is a country music artist and composer who encompasses the spirit and values of our community with his music and performances, his work ethic, his love for bringing joy to his audiences, and his humility as an artist. And whereas William Beckman's musical influences include vintage country and mariachi music, and his inspiration is living in a small town on the Texas-Mexico border and his Mexican heritage. And whereas William Beckman's interest in music began with piano lessons at the age of 8, followed by his self-taught skill of playing a guitar around the age of 10, using a guitar purchased by his grandfather at Walmart, a guitar he still owns today. And whereas William Beckman, at the age of 14, performed locally with Tacho Coronado in the cover band Last River, which afforded him the opportunity to learn the skills of performing to live audiences. And whereas William Beckman enjoyed the privilege of meeting country music star and fellow Del Rio native Radney Foster in 2012, his junior year in high school, which led to Radney's mentorship in songwriting and singing. And whereas William Beckman began his solo career in Del Rio as Beck Hislop, playing small venues and private parties. And whereas in the fall of 2013, William Beckman moved to Austin, Texas to attend St. Edward's University and continued his musical journey by performing wherever and whenever possible. And whereas William Beckman in the fall of 2015 transferred to Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee to pursue a degree in music business, graduating in 2017. And whereas William Beckman expanded his singing engagements by performing in Tennessee, Colorado, and his home state of Texas, while enrolled at Belmont University. And whereas William Beckman in 2018 released his first album, Outskirts of Town, and in 2019 competed at the Texas Regional Radio Awards and was named fan favorite in the Future Faces category, where he met his future mentor, Randy Rogers, and is now nominated in the category of New Male Vocalist of the Year. And whereas William Beckman released his second album, Faded Memories, in 2022, that included the popular songs In the Dark, Bourbon Whiskey, and Danced All Night Long. And whereas William Beckman organized his Las Posadas tour Hope for Uvalde in December of 2022, whose net proceeds of ticket sales and 100% of the VIP package sales were donated to Camila and Matthew McConaughey's Just Keep Living Foundation. Uvalde Relief Fund to provide the affected families with grief counseling and to help meet the immediate and long-term needs of the Uvalde community after the tragic shooting at the Robb Elementary School. And whereas William Beckman has expanded his list of firsts to include headlining 3 sold-out performances at Green Hall in the fall of 22, a sold-out show at the Corona Club in Ciudad Acuña, Coahuila, the site and inspiration for the song where he danced all night long, opening 2 times for Parker McCullum in 2022 at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, performing at various rodeos and stock shows, including headlining at the San Antonio Rodeo and Stock Show, performing at the Ryman Theater in Nashville, Tennessee on March 2nd, 2023, which was Texas Independence Day. And whereas William Beckman debuted at the Grand Ole Opry on March the 3rd, 2023, where he earned a standing ovation after performing his hit song, Bourbon Whiskey, and the mariachi classic, Volver, Volver. And whereas William Beckman will add another first when he headlines Billy Bob's Texas in Fort Worth, Texas on April 8th of this year. And whereas William Beckman's unique singing style and ability to perform in both English and Spanish have earned him widespread praise in the country music world, and his charismatic on-stage presence has earned him a growing fan base. Now therefore be it resolved that the Val Verde Commissioner's Court, 1, March 3rd, 2023 is designated William Beckman Day in Val Verde County, Texas, to commemorate his debut performance at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. 2, this resolution shall be included in the official minutes of the Val Verde County Commissioner's Court. 3, the Val Verde County Clerk shall deliver a copy of this resolution to William Beckman and his parents, Edwin and Tammy Hislop. Dated today, March 14th, 2023.
I have a motion. Motion to approve. Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposing? Motion carries 5-0. You want to come on up? If y'all don't mind, y'all. We will get this signed. I couldn't get it signed before because it didn't pass. But if you'll come up. Congratulations, Barry. Come on. That was really good together. Okay. Where you want them?
Yeah, this year. Yes.
We'll get this signed and framed and then get it to you. Thank you. Where's Mr.
Mister, let me get you to step this way a little bit.
Yeah.
No, this way. Yeah, so I can get.
There we go. You know it's now. There, you got it? Do something with my panza.
I'm a photographer, not a magician. Okay, everybody over here and smile. Okay, everybody over here and smile. Very nice. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. I want to thank the judge and all the commissioners. It's an honor to be here, and I've always felt very loved and supported by the community here. I want to do everything I can to lead by example. So thank you so much.
Sing us Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
I do appreciate the whole board.
God bless.
Likewise.
Our second date, we went to Sweden and sang, the mariachis wanted to know what to play, and my wife she doesn't drink. So she said, we can play Come Back, Come Back. Volver, volver. Oh, you always play Come Back, Come Back. Okay, moving on. Number 4, approving the minutes, there is none. Number 5, citizens' comments. Well, we're gonna go in the order that they're here. Pat Cole, Judge Cole. You're up.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you for this honor to speak to you today about something that's very important to me, item number 32. And it's not only important to me, it's important to our community with a focus on Precinct 3, where I am the Justice of the Peace. Commissioner Nettleton has an item on the agenda, discussion and possible action on appointing a constable for Precinct 3 as authorized by Chapter 87041 Texas Local Government Code. I would ask you all to take into consideration what JP3 has been through over the last year and a half, beginning almost 2 years ago. We've had a very hard time, and we lost our constable, and during the time that he was suffering with a lot of illness, Deputy Wancho filled in with a lot of professionalism. He's very good, very willing, and highly qualified. And he has everything that this court needs, and he's been giving it to this court with the sheriff's permission. He has stepped in many, many, many times. And I feel that he is certainly the best qualified candidate for that, and I would ask for your vote today for this, because it's not about politics, although it somehow has become about politics. This is about doing the right thing. And the right thing is to put someone in that position that is qualified, has given their heart and soul to help in the situations that we really needed him at the last minute. When we had people that were difficult to deal with, he stepped up immediately and helped us. He has helped the other judges on that floor as well. All 4 of the JPs, if you didn't know, are on the 2nd floor of the Alice May Fitzpatrick building. And he's helped not just one of us, but he's helped us all along with the other constables. And I do ask you again, please set politics aside and please do what you know is the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Rhonda Hargrove?
Good morning. We're going to start teaching him really young. Somebody's going to have to follow me. Good morning. I'm here because in the last meeting I was here, one of your gentlemen spoke about what it seemed to be 3 of you against 2 of you at all votes. Every vote. Absolutely every vote. It's in the minutes. We can look it up. It's been going on for a really long time. And that, like Pat said, this is not about what you guys have going on amongst yourselves. It's not about who's dabbing in whose business in whose precinct. You were elected by the people of this community. Every one of you. And every one of you should have the best interest in every precinct in this county. I don't care if it's in the middle of nowhere or right here in the middle of Del Rio, Texas. If you got voted in, you are sitting back there because we put you there. Because we thought you were honorable, we thought you had morals and integrity. And I've been to a lot of these meetings, and you guys know I'm probably a pain in the rear end. But somebody's got to hold you guys accountable. This has gone on long enough. I don't care who's at fault. I don't care who's in an uproar about all of this, or who doesn't like who back here. But this is like a bunch of teenage girls fighting about some guy or something, and you guys are on each other's sides or swaying one another to vote. This is about doing the right thing, and Mikey Wancho has been in law enforcement long enough. He ran for the position and lost by a few votes. And anything else is, if you vote any other way than to put him in as her constable, it is all about something you guys have going on and not the best interest of this county. And there are a lot of us that feel that way and are afraid to get up here and speak to you, but I am not that person. So when you're talking about getting involved in other people's business and other people's precincts, some of you sitting back there have been involved in my business in judging what I'm going to do with my property, yet we all know what you do with your own. So you're dabbing in a lot of people's business, not just each other's. I think you need to do the right thing, and I think you need to appoint Michael Wancho for this position for Pat Cole. Thank you.
Clarence, James, hope I got that right.
Yes. Can I go after,
Yeah, not a problem. Let's see. Roger Cerny. Roger? Mr. Cerny?
Thank you very much, Judge, Commissioners. I'm here basically to comment, discuss an item that appeared in 8:30 Times regarding Commissioner Nettleton's motion, seconded by Judge Owens, to add a prayer, or commonly known as an invocation, prior to the Commissioners Court meeting. When I learned that prior to this article that Commissioner Nettleton was going to place this on the agenda, I was enheartened. I had learned also that our city had added an invocation prior to the commencement of their meetings. And the reason I was so enheartened is that there has never been a call for prayer that has echoed across our country, our state, and our city like we are experiencing now. In the wake of things such as people being murdered in places of worship, hate crimes, corruption in government, things that the average person just is trying to deal with, and what do? We turn to Almighty God for prayer. And then I learned, and I was equally dismayed of the fact that this motion had been failed twice. And it puzzled me because I, over a period of years, have come to know this court and know that in particularly, I'll cite one example. Here about 6 or 7 years ago, Commissioner Flores and I were enjoying a luncheon that was actually a working lunch, and yet after the issues of how our department could help his precinct, it turned to personal matters, and we both commented, and we had, both of us had experienced a very, very, very serious medical condition. And we were there enjoying a lunch, and we were adamant in our belief that the reason we were there that day was because of the prayers and that our family, our friends, and ourselves, and that Almighty God had kept us there for a reason, to serve our fellow man, and which Gus has done, and I've tried to do. And yet, here we are, still here today, a testament to prayer. You know, it would seem to me that it would be very, very difficult if I was in a position where I had to invoke the power of Almighty God in the form of prayer in order to, on behalf of a sick loved one, family member, or friend, when I had basically told him, I don't need you in my public life. I would say that there's probably not an elected official in this room that at one time or another in their recent campaign had not turned to Almighty God in the form of prayer to be victorious in their candidacy. In closing, I would just like to say that I would certainly hope that an invocation or a simple prayer asking God to bless this court with wisdom and humility in order to best serve the people of Val Verde County will be rethought and appear on a future agenda. Thank you very much for hearing me on this matter.
Mr. James?
He did cry.
Okay. Is it Tommy, son guy?
Yes, sir. I really don't have much to add to that. Good morning. Just ask that the county would reconsider the motion to invoke the presence of God and the wisdom of God in the governing matters of this county. Thank you.
Ken Herrera? Is it Herrera?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Ken Herrera. Most of you know who I am and where I work. Now, I'm not here representing my employer or the media. I'm here as a resident of Precinct 3, represented by Commissioner Nettleton, and I'm here to voice my concern on agenda item number 32, the appointment of someone to fill in the constable position for Precinct number 3. I will try to be as eloquent as I can without cursing like a drunken sailor on leave or a sober and irritated judge presiding over court.
That's me?
No names mentioned.
That's okay.
Okay, let's look at all of you as a whole. As elected officials, you're here to mainly oversee the budgetary and policy-making functions of county government and to come up with solutions that benefit county residents. Now, I know y'all can't get along at times, and that's fine. It's democracy in action. But there's always going to be disagreement. With issues from the sports complex locations to one of the most recent dust-ups referencing the immigration concerns out of the Foster Ranch, and the addition of prayer to the Commissioners' Court meeting. Again, disagreement. This agenda item number 32, the appointment to fill the position of the elected position of Constable for Precinct 3, should pass amongst you unanimously. The personal feelings you have towards one another at times has absolutely nothing to do the way you vote on this issue, on this appointment. For the past 2 to 3 years, county residents of Precinct 3 have not had a constable capable of fulfilling his duties, and all of you, every single one of you knew it, and yet you did nothing. Judge, you and I had a conversation about 2 years ago on this, and you just shrugged your shoulders. You all now have the opportunity to right the wrong, to atone for your deficiencies while overseeing this court. Don't let your petty attitudes and your overinflated egos of yourselves cloud your decision. This isn't about you. This is about the residents of Precinct Number 3 in Val Verde County. Commissioner Nelson, I hope you put forward the name of Mikey Wancho to fill the vacant position of Precinct 3 Constable. And if any of you are thinking about advertising this, there's no need to. Mikey Wancho is ready, willing, able, and capable to fulfill the duties of constable. If anyone wants to run for the position, they could do it next year when the position comes up for election. For the rest of you sitting in this court, remember, elections have consequences. Your vote on this issue, as well as many others to come, will be remembered and will last for a long time. Thank you.
Those were all the citizens' comments that I had. Don't mind. I'll go into this item. Get it done. Either way. We're gonna move to item 32, discussion possible action on appointing a constable to Precinct 3 as authorized by Chapter 87.041 Texas Local Government Code.
Judge, I will make a motion to appoint Andrew Michael Wancho as a constable. He has filled this position and worked with us for quite a while. This precinct has been without a constable for a long time, and I think it is time we get somebody in, and this position will be filled until the next election.
I will second that for discussion. Okay, I have a motion and I have a second by Commissioner Flores. Discussion, Commissioner Flores?
Yes. We've never, when JP Precinct 2, Joey Gonzalez passed away, we didn't appoint somebody. We opened it to the public. JP Precinct 4, the same thing. We've never gone straight and appointed somebody. It's nothing personal against Mr. Wancho. We need to open it to the law enforcement community. There's people wanting to apply for this job. So we cannot do this. I mean, we need to open it up to the public. If people apply and they don't qualify and Wancho's the man, then Wancho's going to be the man in as constable. But I think we need to open it up to the law enforcement community that are retired from Border Patrol, U.S. Customs, and Sheriff Department, and so on and so on. So I will remove my second.
Well, let's do this real quick. Let me, Judge Allen, and see if they want to speak. Any of y'all, any other comments?
Yes, sir. When I had an opening, there was an opening in Precinct 1 for JP. The court did not allow me to make that selection. I just want to remind the court of that. I was refused. I made a recommendation. I was refused. So then it was thrown open.
Commissioner Russell.
Nothing personal against this gentleman that is running for maybe appointed or not be appointed, but I think we need to be fair to all the people and open it up for best qualifications. That's just my opinion.
Judge Allen, comment.
Judge, thank you for giving me the time to speak. And I just wanted to speak to some of the comments that have been made. In the past, when we had vacancies in the JP's position, I myself appointed a JP. It's not an easy thing to do because you have to find a qualified candidate. I had to dig hard and deep in order to get Judge Brockwell to come out of retirement to accept that appointment, because he was the only qualified individual that I could find outside of a visiting judge from another county. So sometimes these appointments are not always easy. You have to follow within the guidelines of the law. And the guidelines of the law are very specific. You have a qualified individual. They have to be a peace officer. In speaking of a constable, they have to be a peace officer. They have to be recognized. They have to have everything capable of coming in and doing the job. They can't come in and then qualify to do the job. So there's different criteria for everything. And what's happened in the past is in the past, but we have appointed JPs. We have appointed constables. I myself had to remove a constable from office and make an appointment for another one. These are not easy decisions. They're life-altering decisions, and I'm asking that you all do the right thing. This young man has worked very hard. It's not about, like everybody said, anybody on this court. It's about the fact that we need a constable. We need a constable to serve now. We needed a constable to serve yesterday, a year ago, 6 months ago. Whatever you want to say. But this man is qualified to the letter of the law and willing and able to do the job. And if you want to delay it by advertising and see what you get, you still, a Border Patrol agent, a federal employee, still has to be a peace officer in the state of Texas in order to take the appointment. Take the qualified individual you have now. Then try to find somebody that you want to see run for that position later on, if that's the case. But please, I implore you, in God's name, I will bring God in this court today. Do the right thing.
Judge, just going back on your comment about appointing Judge Brockwell, we had about 8 or 10 applicants back then for that position.
If you'll remember, Commissioner, there was a very specific requirement in the law, and they had to have had experience over 4 years.
We even had an attorney apply for that position.
They did not qualify under the letter of the law for the appointment. The letter of the law required that they had to have over 4 years' experience prior as a JP.
But we went through the process. I mean, we didn't appoint just straight out.
Commissioner, with all due respect, I don't believe that you're listening to what I'm saying.
No, I am listening. You're just not giving all the information.
No, the letter of the law is very clear. In the instance of a JP, which is not what we're discussing here, but the instance of a JP, a justice of the peace had to have served in excess of 4 years in that position in order to be appointed. And at that point, Judge Brockwell and Judge Weddle, who was not willing to return, was the only one that was willing to serve at that point that had the qualifications. The only other option the court had at the time to visit was to bring in a visiting JP from outside of the county, which would have been cost prohibitive. I'm very, very, very familiar with the circumstances, but we're not talking about a JP, we're talking about a constable. And the same thing, the letter of the law states very clearly, they must have resided in the county for the year prior. They must have been in the precinct for 6 months prior. They must be a peace officer recognized by the state of Texas. It's very simple, gentlemen. Please, again, in God's name, do the right thing.
Judge, thank you. We have a motion. We had a second. The second has withdrawn. Do I have a second to the motion made by Commissioner Nettleton? Okay. I'll second the motion. We have a motion. We have a second. I'll take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those against? All right. Okay. Motion fails, 2-3. And saying that, we still need to move forward. So I'm gonna make a motion to, what is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is my item.
Okay, so do you want to do something?
They're gonna have to put something else back on the agenda.
Okay. The way the item reads in the agenda, I should have the authority to.
Anybody can make a motion on any item, Commissioner.
So,
I understand that.
Yes, sir.
and with all due respect, just like you done the last time, with all due respect, we still have to move forward, Commissioner. Not trying to go against you, but at some point, I gotta move forward. Okay. I'm gonna ask a question. Can I, under the way the item's listed, make a motion under this item?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion Juanita, for you to post this position, on our website, get the information out, and open it up to the general public with the requirements that these individuals must qualify, to be a constable.
Second.
All right, let me get down real quick, Commissioner Moore. And the applications, be received no later than no later than the 24th of March. And if you will put an item on the agenda for the 28th to pick a constable. All right? Commissioner, I need a second, if anybody's gonna second that. Second. I have a motion, I made the motion, Commissioner Wardlaw seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-1. I will make a comment, because I didn't make one earlier. I really believe that, you are the individual for the job just because what we've been through the last couple of years. I wish that it would have, passed, didn't matter how it passed, 3-2, 5-0, whatever. But, we still have to move forward. I would, really appreciate it if you would apply for the position. I don't know what to say, folks. Yes, ma'am.
Judge, Commissioners, I would like to remind you that this is not a hired position as an employee of the county. This is an elected position. You don't go through a process through HR to have an elected official, otherwise none of us would be here. This is a matter of doing the right thing, and all of you know what the right thing is, and none of you, except for Judge Owens, has the courage to speak up, admitting that it is the right thing. And Judge, I admire you greatly, but if you know it's the right thing and you wish he would have been appointed, why didn't you vote?
I did vote.
You
It
did
was a
vote?
2-3 vote. I did the second.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Please forgive me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Judge, I did. Commissioner Middleton made a motion. I made the second. We took a vote. It was a 2-3 vote. Motion failed.
I still maintain the fact that this is not an employment position. This should not be run through HR. It should be done through Commissioners Court, just like it has been done in the past.
One thing I can say, you're the most qualified person for this position. People of Precinct 3 made it very clear in the last election, and you only lost by a few votes. I apologize to you and Judge Cole for getting caught up in the politics of this game that we're playing up here. I do hope you do apply for this position. I think you're the most qualified. You've done the job, you understand the job. It's very sad we're in this position. We've been without a constable for a very long time, which puts the risk of the judge and everybody else at risk when she holds court. We're unable to serve warrants. There's a lot of things that need to get done. But we'll go through this process and we'll see how it goes.
Mr. Chapoy, just for the record, evidently I wasn't real clear. There was a motion made by Commissioner Nettleton. There was a second that was, removed. Then there was another motion, the motion kept by Commissioner Nettleton. There was a second by myself. There was a vote taken. The vote taken was 2-3, 2 members for the motion. Commissioner Nettleton and Judge Owens were for the motion, and the other 3 commissioners were against it. So the motion did fail. That's just, that we were just clear.
Judge, can I say something, Judge?
Of course, sir.
Mr. Wancho, this process that we just voted on, 24th is right around the corner. Nothing personal against you. If the time comes, you're the best qualified man. I support you 100%. Just wanted to let you know, Mr. Wanji.
Anybody else before we move on to item 6? Item 6, approving monthly reports from elected officials. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 7, approving bills for payment. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 8, discussion possible action to approve the auditor's report.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Motion to approve.
Motion
Got the other things in executive session?
Yeah, if you'd like to take them to executive session, we can leave that open for executive session.
You want to table this and then bring that back? Huh?
Yes.
Second.
Motion to table. Second by Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, this is the good one?
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
We did not turn it in? Okay. No treasurer's report? Okay, sorry. Took a little bit to get here, but discussion possible action on presentation on bond and financial advisors. I'll start this off real quick. Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it. And here in a minute, when you get up, if y'all just introduce yourselves, that way we know who's who. Commissioner Flores had asked if we could do something to begin the conversations about projects. There is a project that we're looking at. One, there's several, but one of the projects we're looking at is a. You stop me at any time. No, yes, you go. There is a project, Senegas Road, project's 1.8.
1.89 months.
Huh?
1.89 months.
1.8?
1.89. 1.9.
Yeah, 1.9, okay, we'll round it up. 1.9 miles. Bottom line is, when we started looking at it, we were in that $4 million range. There was a survey done or some tests done to the road. If you'll just bear with me a little bit, I'll get there. And the type of material that we would have to use and everything else. So there was 4 options given. Right now, Carlos, if you don't mind, I know that you were looking at dollar amounts, and the cost of everything has gone up. And I didn't believe it yesterday when I started looking at actually calling and looking for prices on asphalt and stuff. You know, it seemed like we would have already hit the peak because oil is coming down, or gas prices are coming down, but evidently it's just an opportunity to, I guess, make up whatever they lost. But we are in the price range today of?
We do have.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning,
Morning.
Commissioners. So we were presented 4 options on the how to lay out the structure of the road. The first option is to put in 3 inches of Type C asphalt on top of 7 inches of new base, on top of 11 inches of existing flexible base with 4%
Okay, let's do this.
cement.
Give me prices.
Okay, so the lowest option is construction only, 4.6 million. And then the most expensive version of the construction only is 6.2 million.
So $2 million, $1.8 million difference. So in reality, we're probably looking at a 5.
Yeah, we need to consider that we don't have the plants there, we don't have the geotechnical.
5.5. That'd be on the low side.
In-house or going out for RFQs on.
Let's do this. We would be looking at about a $6 million project.
Pretty much.
So, do we agree?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. It's a good way to start, right? There were some concerns of the district. Commissioner Nettleton has brought up a couple of times different taxes. Do what?
Judge, can you mute the judge, please? Stephen. There we go. There's always been talk about forming some type of taxing district to where the individuals that use the road, and again, you stop me at any point, another taxing mechanism. And I'm gonna be real honest with you, I have no idea what those mechanisms would be. I know that we've heard several options in the past from Commissioner Nettleton and Commissioner Flores, but yeah, their turn. Judge, come on up.
Let me give them a little history. Before you start, I'd like to tell you what Cienegas Road is all about. Do y'all know where it's at? It's the backbone to the industrial park. There's 4 main roads that come into Cienegas Road, which is Party Lane, Frontera Road, Johnson Boulevard, and I'm missing one here. Finnegan, Johnson, Frontera, and Party. 4 roads, and they're all industrial. There's warehouses in all these roads. So they come in and out Cienegas Road. So the road's been deteriorating. I mean, it's in bad shape. And it's fixing real bad. So there's a lot of traffic. There was a traffic vehicle count by TxDOT back in 2018. And what we heard from them, it was like 6,800 vehicles per day using that road. And in the future, this road will be tying in to the second bridge. So things that y'all need to consider. I mean, it's a very important road for the community, for economic growth, and it generates a lot of money. This economy down there.
Sure. Excuse me. Thank you for that. That background is helpful. My name is Clay Binford. I'm a bond attorney with McCall, Parkhurst, and Horton, representing the county as your bond counsel. I've been doing this exclusively for 22 years. I live in Medina County, so I've seen a rural community that is dealing with the impacts of urban growth spilling over into it, have a practice that spans across the state, and the various types of local government representation. I've always heard talk of a special taxing district or a special district for a particular project within a particular jurisdiction. And with very rare exceptions, once you start talking through the inefficiencies of trying to isolate a particular project to a particular area of payment, becomes inefficient when you compare it to the alternatives. That's not to say it can't be done, but it is not done very often, and when it is done, it is very expensive, and oftentimes it is done when you're doing some kind of new greenfield development where a particular singular property owner owns the area that it's going to develop, and so they can commit that property to certain conditions that other people buy into with knowledge that they're accepting that when they purchase the property. Creating it after the fact, after the property has been developed, it's difficult, and I'll get into why in a second. First of all, when you levy a tax, it has to be equal and uniform across the entire geographic area that you have imposed the tax on. You are already a taxing district as the county. You have the ability to levy and impose and collect taxes, and you have responsibility for the county road system. So you are now trying to do something in addition to or on top of that existing obligation that already belongs to the county. So the first thing that you have to do if you're a taxpayer that is going to be burdened in their mind by an additional tax for a particular purpose is, how come the taxes that I'm already paying are not satisfying this road obligation of the taxing district, which is the county? That's the first thing. You can address that and that's a legitimate request and concern. So what the give for that is that if someone wants something more, for example, the county has a capital program and you're doing X number of miles of road per year, and from a prioritization standpoint, this particular road is 3 to 5 or 10 years down the road. Well, what can we do to accelerate that? Well, one thing that I've seen before in Medina County is there is a precinct-specific special road tax that was the subject of an election within a particular precinct, and that precinct levies an additional 5 cents for road improvement within that district. That was a requirement for an election. Again, you are asking taxpayers to burden themselves in an additional manner in comparison to other taxpayers, so they get the right to consent to that. That's through a public vote. The other opportunity is to actually go to the property owners and tell them, hey, we're looking at an improvement for this particular purpose. We need consent in order for you as a taxpayer or a property owner that is going to be benefited by this improvement to consent to a repayment schedule that is going to allow us to build this road and improve it to your betterment. In that scenario, you need the property owners of at least 50% of the property value within this district or this area to consent. And whether we do that is in a special taxing district, which is ultimately new governance, which maybe you don't want, or a special district like a public improvement district where you levy an assessment on these property owners that acts just like a tax, but it is specific for a particular project.
Let me interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
There's a few residents that live in this area. And if we were to target a special tax district, I would like to target industrial businesses only.
Well, see, that then
Because if it's gonna be everybody, then forget about it, because I don't wanna target.
Sure,
and
that's
nothing to do with this roads. I mean,
good
it's heavy trucks, heavy loads and stuff like that.
So when you're doing an assessment, you have to look at who all benefits from the property. And you can figure out an allocation methodology to where industrial uses, let's say 80%, they derive 80% of the benefit of this road. Well, you can't impose on them more than 80% of the cost of that road. So you've got a 20% delta in this hypothetical. That could either be shared by the residences, or the county could fill in the gap and then defray that across the entirety of the county so that those particular residents aren't going to be disproportionately affected. But you cannot put 100% of the financial burden on a group of payers that are only going to just derive 50%, 60, 70% of the benefits.
I wouldn't go for that. I mean, there's some people there got little ranchitos and they live there. I don't want to target them.
Right.
No, they're not tearing up the roads.
I mean, the other option is to go to these parties by contract.
Yeah.
These companies that are going to be the ones that are going to, you can always negotiate with them and say, the county's going to improve this road. It's the benefit for you. Here's the cost, and we want you to pay X amount. You could do that, and then the county has their debt that's outstanding, and it becomes what's called self-supporting, so you don't actually levy a tax for it to pay it. You use the money that comes in from these contracts from the people that are actually paying for that to pay the debt instead of levying a tax that goes across everybody. You could do something like that. But that would get away from having to create some kind of a special district. You really want to not have to create another layer of government, another layer of bureaucracy, and then you would have to get consent from landowners in the form of either a petition or an election in order to do that anyway.
Yeah.
And just to that conversation about not burdening the rest, if you took Gus Senegas Road, starting from the City of Del Rio property, or city limits. You took it down to Frontera, and then went down Frontera, and then up industrial, because those would be your commercial users.
Yeah.
Right.
Judge, that's a good idea. The thing is that I'm looking at long-term future, that this road's gonna tie into the second bridge sooner or later. And that's the reason I was targeting all the way to the duck pond. But, I mean, we can look at that too. I mean, but, it's coming. The second bridge is coming. I mean, and we need a good road.
It's amazing to me that current prices are $2 to $3 million per mile. I'm glad we aren't building all these roads out here right now, or we're not be able to afford to do it. I'm not getting any cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, yesterday when we had a conversation with Carlos, I hadn't called for asphalt in probably a year. And then when he gave me the prices yesterday, it's like, well, Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, because our gas prices have gone down, and a year and a half ago, I wasn't paying for asphalt what I'm paying today, but yet I'm paying less for fuel today than I was a year and a half ago.
And Judge, it's all due to recession, inflation. I mean, everything's going up, and it's something that we have to live with.
We spoke a little bit, and just for information for the court, certificates of obligation, 20-year certificate of obligation. You said high side 5, but somewhere around 4.25, 4.25, 4.5, but really bank on 5 in case something happens, 5%. I was looking up some numbers right now, Commissioner Flores. $6 million at 5%, about 400 and some odd thousand, 430, 440,000 yearly payment for 20 years at 5%. If you go down to 10 year, you're somewhere, you've got 777,000. But we also have to look at, if we go to 20 year, you're doubling, you're paying $3 million in change in interest, $1 million in interest, versus 1 point some odd million if you can keep it on that 10, 12 year mark. So that would be something for the court to consider, especially with the interest rate being so high. Judge, the last time we borrowed money, I think we paid one average of about 1.3. On the 4.3 million was an average of about 1.3. That was a heck on a 20-year note or something. But either way, Commissioner.
No, sorry to interrupt, but I've got $387,000 there set aside for Cienega Road, and I could commit another 500 that I have there saved for a rainy day. And I've talked to the mayor of the city of Del Rio, city manager, and Mr. Ramon, and they're looking to see if they can help me out. I mean, help the county with this road. Not with a lot of money, but with some money, because it benefits them more than it benefits us. And the reason being is that all those commercial trucks crossing the bridge generates millions and millions of dollars per year to the city of Del Rio. So they're willing to participate in this to a certain point.
Do you think that these 4 major industrial users, I would imagine they have an interest in the road being improved more quickly?
Yes.
And I don't even know if they could privately charge trucks a per truck fee in order to recover whatever you're asking them to contribute. And maybe it's the combination of the 3, the county, the city, and have these industrial businesses contribute, and then everybody gets their kind of bearing a fair share.
That's a real good idea, I mean, that would alleviate us targeting everybody in that district with a special district, tax district.
Right.
So is that something that you would entertain? Maybe
Yes,
go
sir.
on and ask them?
Yes.
To see if they would be willing to partner? And then maybe bring it back to come up with a percentage of what y'all could do?
I mean, we still need to move forward with this, in case, something doesn't go the way we're hoping it will. But, yes, I will call the mayor and I'll call them today and find out.
And we can certainly help with the agreements that would lock that into place, even if it's either with another public entity like the city or a private one with one of the property owners.
Do you have cards?
I don't have one with me.
No?
No.
You're like me, you don't carry them because you're scared they'll call you or what?
That's exactly right.
If you could get us your contact information, if you'll send it to my office, and I will get it to all the commissioners.
Okay.
Make sure that Commissioner Flores has it, and then begin working on that. I know that there's other projects that the court is looking at. So if we can sort of bite one piece of this apple at a time type deal, or especially since we're talking about another district just for theirs. I know that we've looked at a judicial center. There's just a host of other things that we need to look at. But again, if you can get us your contact information, I know we have it. But
I have it.
Do you? Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
We'll get it out.
Someone called me to be here.
Tom did. Yeah, we split it up. I called you and he called me. Commissioner, what do you want to do?
No, I mean, If we can move forward with,
Okay, you're gonna move forward and get with the mayor. I know that he was on his way to Corpus, because we talked to him yesterday. Okay, that's a scary sight, him on the beach, right? Either way, if you'll get with the mayor and then maybe visit with some of the companies down there. The first one that I would advise would be with SAS, because the last time that they talked about anything with the different tax, they threatened to leave. So we probably need to visit with them first. Okay? Okay.
And Judge, in the meantime, I can run that $6 million analysis for you, and I can put it together and show you 10 years, 12 years, 20 years, and then we can just kind of begin discussions.
Mr. Gonzalez, run two, a 5 million and a 6 million.
Okay.
In case we get the difference from somebody else,
Perfect. Absolutely, not a problem.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate y'all coming down, taking the time to come
Happy
down.
to do it.
All right?
Absolutely.
Thank y'all. Y'all have any other questions for them? No? We good? All right. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
If y'all don't mind, would y'all mind taking a little 5-10 minute break? I'm just going to catch a break. We're going to take a break, Stephen.
We've been waiting for 10 years.
Yeah. All right, court's back in session. I got a piece of paper for citizens' comments. Mr. Junior. We'll look at citizens' comments real quick and then we'll move on.
Yeah. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Miguel. I'm a resident of Precinct 3 out in western Valverde County. I apologize for bringing it back to what was spoken about earlier. I didn't know how the process worked, but I'd like to mention about, Juancho. Again, I've known Juancho for a long time. Obviously, he's ready to do the job. He's already been in it, qualified. With the lack of law enforcement and stuff out in our area, I don't see why we have to go through the process and wait longer. I mean, I don't have a clue on how the process works or how long it's going to take, but we are really shorthanded out there. I mean, I live out there. People come across my property all the time. We try to find a response, get people to come out and help. We, a lot of the times, have to deal with it on our own. And by that I mean talk to these immigrants and whatnot and do our best to try to get them off of our property. Thank God nothing's happened bad out there, but it happens more than you know. A lot of folks, that live out there, we encounter this on a very, very regular basis. I've lived out there 40 years, work out there, work in that part of the county. We see them all the time. I mean, if this gentleman's ready to go and he's been doing the job, he's been helping out, qualified. Obviously, our sheriff, Joe Frank, he's been letting the court and do the constable job. I mean, he's very qualified indeed. A year flies by in no time. I mean, there really should be no reason why we have to hold up and not get this gentleman in here when we really, really need him out there. I mean, we really need him out there. And I'm not specific, we just need the presence of law enforcement as much as we can out there. I mean, for people that don't live out there, have families out there, I have young kids, we all have families out there that it's pretty stressful when we have to deal with this, and Border Patrol's tied up, DPS is out there, but they're tied up, so any help we can get out there is very much welcome. So I do not see why, if this gentleman's ready to go, we can't get him out there, within, they're still it's gonna be an elected position, like we know. So, I mean, if we could get them out there, that'd be just more help. And, our school out there, you know, we don't have, school police like we do in Del Rio and other places. So anybody we can get out there is very, very helpful. I mean, and again, I know this was vote's already been done, but it's pretty ridiculous, I think, in my mind, that when we have somebody that's ready to do the job, we're still holding back and making us wait longer out there and not feel, I mean, we feel safe when we see the traffic, as far as like, sheriff or deputies or whatnot out there, but they can't be out there 24/7. So having this constable in our precinct out there, you know, would be really, really helpful. Appreciate the time, appreciate Commissioner Nettleton, and Mr. Owens, trying to get us some help out there, but thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to item 11, presentation for Lifetime Achievement Award. Yes, sir. How's it going today? Y'all doing all right?
Yes, sir. We're glad to be here. Thank you for having us. So, yeah, hopefully I'll try to keep this brief. This will be perhaps less controversial, at least I hope so. Because really what I want to do is ask you to join me in celebrating one of your most valued employees. So as y'all know, you're part of the TAP Health and Employee Benefits Pool, and part of your health benefits is the Healthy County program. Right, TAP has put that in place. We started that, boy, we're coming up on 15 years ago now. And the whole purpose is to help improve your employees' health and quality of life, help the county control costs, and ultimately be better stewards of your taxpayer dollars. That's the purpose and the point. So each year we host what we call our annual Healthy County Conference, and during that conference we typically give out some awards. One of those awards, it's not given every year, so it's a very selective thing, and it's based on over 200 county representatives. But we have something called the Lifetime Achievement Award. This award is based on doing an outstanding job over time, right? So we have something called the Ira Stagner Award, but you only have to be a person, the point person for the Healthy County program for like a couple of years to earn that, right? This, you have to have been doing it for a minimum of 6 years, preferably 8 or 10 or more. It's not given every year. But based on her outstanding contribution, consistency, I don't know if you all know this, but when y'all do Healthy County and health and benefits trainings for the county, you're one of the few counties where 80 or 90% of your employees show up, which I really appreciate. I know that also has to do with you all, making sure that your employees and in your different offices and departments and precincts get there and come. But it's outstanding, and so with that, I'd like to invite Juanita Barrera to come up and receive her. And she participated in the conference virtually, so this is the first time she's actually held the award. Ms. Barrera,
Why don't you come up here and give it to her up here?
Okay. Outstanding lifetime achievement.
Both of y'all come up and give it to her.
All right.
And we'll get your picture. Come on up.
Judge Owens, I'm shy.
Yeah, you look like you're shy. You look like you're Healthy County too.
Yeah.
Come on over here in the back. No, stand in the middle. Congratulations. One on that. Tack on each side.
Okay.
That way you can get it to her.
Sounds good. All right. Okay.
All right, in there? That'll work.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Scoop?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had his leg back there.
Very nice. One more? Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Can I take a picture with you?
Congratulations.
One more.
Yes. That's not used to hit people on the head.
One more picture.
Okay. Thank you.
She didn't even take it.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank y'all. Congratulations.
She really is worthy of the recognition. As I said, since we have at the conference, over 200 people and over 200 people out in counties who are, county employees who help promote the program, get people involved, drive engagement, as well as help administer the health benefits. And you have an amazing woman here in your midst.
I will tell you that the third floor houses health department and HR. And both Carlos and Juanita, when I go to the third floor, I get a left eye twitch. And now with Commissioner Warnock.
Judge, you take the stairs, correct?
Yeah, no, we don't. Not even gonna lie about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all. Item 12, we talked about it, in item 10, so there's no action. Item 13, discussion possible action on accepting participation on. That doesn't sound. Either one. In the Allergen? The what?
Allergen.
Yeah. Now we need to go take another break and walk around again. Walgreens, I know Walmart, opioid settlements, and granting county judge authority. This is the one the letter that we received the other day.
Yes, so this will be the second, technically it's the second.
Motion to approve and authorize the judge to sign.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. We've already done 14. Well, go back to item 13. Y'all were working on another one, Matt, on the first part or something, turning in, on the opioid settlement?
There's about 4 different settlements on there. The one that we're getting, and it's broken up into 70% of that first settlement we're gonna get, but it's gonna be spread out over 18 years as the funds come in, so it is what it is. But the juice on that is gonna be, it's broken up into those regionals, and that's where, the 17 minus 100, that's what's gonna come in, and that's where your charisma, you sitting on that board, is gonna come in. You're gonna go in there.
I'm working on my charisma, we ain't getting a video.
You're gonna go in there, on the board, you're gonna grab the lion's share of those funds.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring them back to the Alberta County.
100, 170.
Cut to the chase.
On the first set? God, it was low, it was a 173 or something like that. It was, probably 173, spread out over.
173,000?
Yeah, but like I said, that's the small amount. The juice is in the regionals. That's
Where does that money go?
That money is kind of, I don't want to say up in the air, but they've dictated what you can do with the lion's share of the money. They haven't really touched on what you're going to do with this money. So it's being interpreted right now as it's just a general compensation for all of the opioid problem. There's no.
At this point, they're not giving us any rules as to where we can put it.
Well, they haven't given us the money, so, yeah.
Well, I want to make sure this goes to the sheriff's office, because they're the ones that deal with it most of it.
Right now, it sounds like you should be able to do that. Even on the restricted categories, for the lion's share, it can go back to the sheriff's.
Y'all keep Narcan in y'all's vehicles, sure? All of them or part of them?
The majority, right now, I think we're looking for fresh supply. So they got an expiration date on them.
Maybe we can utilize if we ever get it.
Yeah.
And then you'll get us up to date on the part that goes to the regional, how they're gonna distribute that or what they're gonna do with it.
No, I mean, I think what we're gonna do is just, wait on rules. But up and what we're gonna do with the money.
Okay, yeah, we can wait on that. More than likely, that small portion can be used for just general funding. And the regional stuff is gonna be dictated, but that regional stuff, that's a huge lift. There's gonna be committees created from academia, from the state legislature, from all that stuff.
And we keep getting emails, on different, like you said, there's like 3 or 4, suits or whatever.
And they have these requirements of signing documents like this and submitting them, and I think the hope is that some will not do it, and then
they get to end up with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. We did 14. Item 15, discussion possible action on a resolution recognizing San Felipe Del Rio Consolidated Independent School District track team. Thank you. Motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. This thing here, once we sign it, we'll frame it and then send it to the school district on their accomplishments.
They've done a great job.
Huh?
The school's done a great job. This team has done phenomenal.
Yeah. And they've got one kid, I think, West is his last name, that just set records, for the high jump, for the long jump, and a bunch of them that set records. You know, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 6. We're only on item 16. Discussion possible action for approval for the Whitehead Memorial Museum to get permission to obtain a beer and wine license for TABC to sell beer and wine on the grounds at the museum. Application passed. Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, discussion possible action approving affidavit of bills. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, discussion possible action approving affidavit of posting final public hearing notice for the CDBG 7219085, Rise Estate, San Felipe Precious Vega Verde Road, on March 14th at 5:05 p.m. in the Old County Court at Law. Motion. Second. Motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, discussion possible action approving improvements with construction budget for 2023 CDBG grant application for Alcoa soccer fields.
Second, yes.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. We good?
Yeah, I think Carlos, with the benefit of Carlos, he's been putting some numbers together for the soccer fields. And you want to share that? Excuse me. He's been crunching some numbers for us. This is on y'all's proposed application.
So, I had a meeting with Roland over by the football field. So we're looking into building up 2 U12 fields, and I will take irrigation and grass for those 2 fields and 4 more for around $280,000. So we have, or the application is for $500,000.
Yeah, we got $450,000 for construction purposes. Yeah.
So the rest of it, we'd also talked about lighting.
Yes.
For the soccer fields, not so much for one individual field, but just overall lighting, that way.
Maybe improving the restroom there.
We can do something about it, and they were also asking if we can build some parking spaces around that area. Some parking areas.
Okay.
I mean, we can put it on.
And we can work on those numbers before we, in other words, to get to the 450.
Yeah.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Discussion possible action approving draw number 3, requesting reimbursement of $413,200. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, discussion possible action approving force account for CDBG 7219085 Vega Verde Rise Estate San Felipe Pastures.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 22, discussion possible action regarding fiscal year 24 community project funding request. Carl?
Good morning again. All right, this opportunity is, with the fiscal year appropriations bill. Congressman Gonzalez, has provided information, to the counties in his district, 23. They have a request or a project that they would like to consider for an appropriations request. The proposal could be within the amount of about, they recommend $1 to $2 million. This is, no guarantee, but it'd be an earmark funding that the Appropriations Committee at Congress would appropriate those funds for that particular project. So the window, I just received this information, actually Judge Owens forwarded it to me, last week. The window actually very narrow, March 15th.
I'll be there.
That's mañana. I think we could probably push that to the limit to Friday to get the application together. There is some information that needs to be provided to the congressman's office other than just a letter. The main deal is, in visiting with the congressman's office, that letters of support from the community are the most urgent importance.
Is there specific things we can use it for, or just anything in general?
There's, well, tell me what you'd like to use it for, and I can tell you if it's eligible or not.
The project Commissioner Vasquez is working on with the school district for those ball fields and stuff?
Probably not to fall under the, community development through the USDA.
How about Chenegos Road?
Through transportation. It'd be through the Federal Department of Transportation.
How much money is available out there?
What these earmarks are, if you're successful, you will not see that funding until next summer, okay? The Appropriations Committee meets the end of 2024, and they'll make those recommendations. Then that money will be approved in Congress and won't be released until the summer of 2024.
I mean, I guess right now, we need to come up with a project.
Need to come up with a project. Well, let me back up. You could come up with multiple projects, but you would need to prioritize those projects. This is the one that is the most important, second importance, because obviously there's limits to the amount of funding.
Okay.
Our youth is important, so that's my priority.
There's two projects mentioned, yours, for the road and, the fields. The problem with trying to apply for this money for the road is that it's not enough money to complete it. So, I mean, we need something that we'd be able to actually say, okay, a bunch of it's done.
Sure.
In my opinion. I mean, but it's up to the court, whatever y'all wanna do.
I think we need to target, Commissioner Vasquez project, because that would be enough money to.
Okay. You got a project. The school's already drawn, a preliminary plan, on it. And I guess what we'll do is concentrate, if you'll get with Commissioner Vasquez and Carlos and concentrate on which part of this park that we do. Because I know with that $1.7 million, we ain't able to do it all, but if we pick the baseball fields and some soccer fields, that they're completely done.
Let me add that this is a 75% grant, or 75% earmark, so there is a 25% match.
But the 25% can be an in-kind?
25% could be of any combination of resources.
So at the end of the day, there's gonna be already clearing done, there's gonna be plans having to be drawn, there's gonna be a bunch of other ancillary deals that in reality, we're gonna be able to get to the 25%.
You probably have some in-kind engineering.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And I have some money there, Judge, that maybe,
So, could we entertain that I create a letter and provide it to the court and have all the members of the court sign it to go with the application?
We can do that, and Make a then we motion can to that also. effect. Put that one? Make a motion to that, to include that. Sheriff, did you want to say something?
Carl, this question, Carl, will this also include the criminal justice piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a number of different branches of, the federal government that these funds are kind of tied to. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and opening that criminal justice side of that door. Did we ever receive the second, part, Matt, of Operation Lone Star? Did we?
Yeah, it's been allocated.
So you're good with?
The, lady here in Del Rio that's, in the congressman's office.
Michelle?
Michelle?
Mhm.
Yeah, she was the one that provided the information to the judge, and judge forwarded it to me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the court. The windows
I
narrow.
make a motion to authorize the members of the court to sign a letter in support of the project Mr. Vasquez is working on, and to authorize the judge or Commissioner Vasquez to get a letter of support from the school district to send with the application.
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. If you'll get the one from the school, and then I'll get with Roland to, get the leagues. Okay. To sign something. On motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 23, discussion possible action approving, Esther and Company.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 24, discussion possible action approving Sanford Waterworks invoice 3. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 25, discussion possible action approving certificate of construction completion. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 26, discussion possible action approving certificate of construction completion. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 27, discussion possible action approving certificate of construction completion, Sanford Waterworks, sod. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action, progress report on tower grant for Pandale. We'd applied for a grant, and then we went out and borrowed some money in order to match what our, what part of the grant was, and right now we're going through the process through Middle Rio Grande that they're looking at and updating some towers. I think we've already gone to towers from digital to satellite, and they're working better, but they're talking about replacing towers. I just wanted to make sure that they didn't go on and do something if we already have the money to go do it, and they take their money and go do something else for us.
$290,000 grant. And the Texas Water Development Board also provided $210,000 worth of financing for a total project of $500,000. This was a kind of a flood mitigation project. It included some flood instrumentation across the county that will drive the bus to actually provide the funds for the tower to be constructed at Pandale. Yeah, we've been coordinating some with the federal FCC and some other agencies there on the actual tower, visited the site, taken some pictures. The project's moving along, but we should be, what I'd like to do is to get permission from the court to maybe have a entity give a presentation to actually demonstrate some of the instrumentation and some flood monitoring equipment, just for y'all's benefit. You know, maybe a mixed meeting if that's possible.
All right, you bring that back to us then?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Item 29, if we'll table this till after, executive. Motion, Commissioner Vasquez. Second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 30, discussion possible action on moving the court interpreter toward the law contract. This guy here is part-time right now, but I've started to use him a little bit, and he'll be over the other dollars amount. The base pay in there is for $41,336.25.
Second. Judge, who is the person that we're talking about?
Mr. Foss.
Okay.
He's been with us, I think, for 15 or 20 years, yeah, forever.
That's monthly contract, 36 for around 40. So the remainder, once we make him full-time, we're gonna come to about 57.9. Where do we want that extra funding to come up from?
Right now, you still have a balance in payroll because of people that we've not hired so far.
So we're just gonna continue to hit payroll?
Yeah, and then next year we'll budget it in correctly.
Okay.
Will that work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Who seconded?
Commissioner Vasquez.
Commissioner Vasquez, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 31, discuss possible action to approve Valverde County to enter into an agreement with AEP to install two XFMRSs and 2 LED lights on the amount of $1,840 to the money to come out of operating budget precinct 2.
Just a couple of notes, Judge, on, I'm requesting that a couple of lights are rather expensive down Dallas, but there's been a lot of illegal dumping and, just for transparency.
Motion to approve, sir.
Yes, sir, motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Item 32, we've already done. Item 33, discussion possible action on approval of Valverde County to enter into agreement with a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 34, discussion possible action approval purchase of defibrillator to be placed at Alcoa Field.
We have baseball coming up, and I would like to see, considering the things that happened before, I'd like to see a defibrillator on that location so that if these kids are playing, we have something.
Did we get a price on it?
Yeah,
Okay.
for the 12 that I had originally.
So we can add this one to that?
Mhm.
Okay. You want to just add this one to that, to the 12 that we'd already
No, that's
approved?
fine.
Okay.
Would like to see one station down there as these kids start playing, just in case.
Motion to approve the 13th?
Judge, if I may, the San Felipe Lions have been approached to also help with these defibrillators, and we've put in a grant for the Lions International to get, I think, 3.
Okay.
So if we can start putting one in every field, that'd be great.
Okay. Will you let us know, get with Commissioner Nettleton and Melissa to check and see? I think the whole thing is they're fixing to start, so I don't know when the grant's going to take place.
Our grant should be approved within 45 days, maybe?
Well, let's get one done now, and then we can put it at one of the other locations. That works? I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second.
Second.
Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. You want to talk about this one, Commissioner Flores? Or
We already did, Judge.
no action needed?
No action needed.
If you will get, if you don't mind, get with Carlos and to figure out which one of those 8, 1, 2, 3, or 4, which option.
Okay.
Best. That
Sure.
would work towards a number. Item 36, discussion possible action to recommend selection of the top scoring engineer firm as for the RFQ for the improvements of Cindy's Road project, authorize county engineer to commence negotiations with selected firm.
Judge, I had put this item here because I thought maybe, yesterday they could have gotten all the paperwork and graded it and to be able to come up with a fair score on this, but there's so much paperwork involved that Melissa told me that it's gonna have to be until the following meeting.
You
So
want
I'm
to
just
table it?
gonna
Bring it
table
back?
it, yes, sir, bring it back to the next
A
one.
motion, Commissioner Flores, to table and to bring back. Anybody second?
Second.
Commissioner Flores made a motion, Commissioner Vasquez second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 37, discussion possible action consideration authorizing via solution for Val Verde County Court at Law DWI Special Court to apply for the fiscal year 2023 Adult Treatment Court.
Second, Judge.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 38, discussion possible action on automation magistration software for the Val Verde County Court at Law in the amount of $4,750 from available appropriations.
Does he have money in his budget for it?
We probably could.
Or one of his
We're
grants?
looking there. There is a tech fund.
Motion to approve.
But there's not enough funding. There's only like 1,100 in there. There's not going to be enough revenues to bring it to full. Try to look for records management preservation. Couldn't really do it on that one. The tech fund. So it looks like we're short about 37. So.
Motion to approve and pay the rest out of contingency.
Okay.
I'll second that, Judge.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 39, discussion possible action to approve Val Verde County Library to accept a donation from Friends of Val Verde County Library for an amount of $6,000.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action on update for waterline project. Do one at a time.
Just trying to connect to it.
Good luck. Well.
Can I go back to the room? It's not connected.
Can you just give us an update, maybe?
Yes.
Like, I've got a meeting at 3, so.
Good morning again, Judge and Commissioners. So I went out to every precinct and checked how they're doing with the water lines. The first one is gonna be precinct 1. They already installed, as for last Thursday, around 1,300 linear feet of pipe. And they were digging the next section for another 2,000 to get to the intersection of Bell Trail and Fox Trail. And they already did the rock saw on pretty much the whole project along the Fox Trail, and everything between Fox Trail, in between Fox Trail and Fury Creek Trail.
Bottom line is, the only thing that they were missing to dig was the culverts.
Yeah, there's one culvert on the Fox Trail area, and there's one concrete low water crossing the Fox Trail. That was the only item that we're pending on.
Yeah, everything else is dug, and then with the rock saw, so all they gotta do is come back and dig it out, lake pipe number one. We have all the fittings for everything on that project.
On that one, Mario is already looking into additional valves. And,
I asked you yesterday, and you said you would, is go out, I've asked him to go out and check with each one of y'all, and go out to the projects themselves with y'all swimmers and count to make sure that what we have, that way we can go get it.
Yeah, we're lacking.
All right, so, Carlos said he would do that. So y'all are moving along, right? Precinct 2?
Okay, so precinct 2, from the last end of the project, from last phase, to going north of Tierra Blanca, they already installed around 1,400 linear feet, and they already dug with the rock saw another 1,700 linear feet.
Okay. That one there, we had a phone call yesterday on the.
Question, Judge, I asked Carlos after talking to you, Judge, about maybe getting with the city, and of course getting in writing about fire hydrants down that easement.
So I have an email from Mr. Quintanilla, and I'm gonna send him an email again, because the recommendation was to install fire hydrants every 1,000 linear feet. And yesterday, it was yesterday. So that if we're going to private line, we don't need to install fire hydrants.
Well,
So
but we're talking about installing one.
Yes.
Right, I mean, all we're talking about is not having to install one.
Yeah, maybe 2, it's gonna be the worst case, 1 or 2.
And Judge, on this particular case, after talking to Commissioner Flores also, would the landowner at any particular time say, hey, well, I want a fire hydrant? Is that any?
Well, I asked him yesterday if he would get with you.
Okay.
So y'all could go visit. We already set aside the money to purchase the rest of the fire hydrants, so we would be in compliant with fire code if we put them in every 1,000 feet. For the cost of putting in 1 or 2, since we've already set the money, my recommendation would be to put them in. We've had a fire out there already once on this piece of property. It would be nice not to have to leave, get on the highway, get off the road, and have a fire hydrant there, especially since we've already set the money aside.
Right.
But it's up to y'all.
Yeah, but, and I was just worried about that city guy, but once you get the information from the city, just let me know, Mr. Carlos.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have enough material? We have enough, I think we have enough materials for the fire hydrants, including the gate valve, the pieces of pipe.
Yeah, I already placed the PO for that.
Okay. All right. And we were missing some pipe.
Yeah, that, on that quote, it's already considered 60 linear feet of 6-inch pipe. Because the nipples, they're really short, the couplings that are common.
Okay. That'll work. Precinct 4?
Okay, precinct 4, according to Ray, they're already passed 6,000 linear feet with the city approved, and then they're installing the last fire hydrant last week. So they're pretty much completed.
We're at the deadline right now, and we're pretty much finished, but we're gonna come back and do the services, the water tabs. But we're pretty much done.
There was 10,000 linear feet. They're done. Okay. All right. All right, we won't open up that other can of worms. That's all I've got. I just want to make sure that you go out and look
and make sure that if there's anything that we're lacking and we get it, we go purchase it. All right?
Yes.
That way we're not at the end of it looking for a gate valve or having to borrow something. Anything, Carl? We're good?
I just, only comment is, and just congratulations to the commissioners, y'all's hard work, your crews, your foremen, your employees. Again, I don't see this going on anywhere else in Southwest Texas. My hat's off to y'all. Congratulations.
And I'll have to agree with that. I mean, you know, it's a lot that your one's 14,000, one's 13,000, and one's 10,000, so you've got 37,000 linear feet of pipe, that's fixing to get buried, or most of it's already been buried, so, either way. Y'all have any discussion on number 40? We're good, Carlos?
Yes.
Okay. Item 41, discussion possible action on lease agreement between U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Valverde County for a 100-foot by 100-foot area for relocating a tower at the SE Ranch coordinates, whatever, upon a review of the county attorney.
Have we looked at Laughlin on the, how tall a tower is it?
We haven't looked at it yet.
We haven't seen it yet.
What, he'll get him the contract. They will have to get permission from Laughlin and from SEC to erect the tower. So that is part of the discussion that we had with them out on the field. And that would have to be done before, we'd have to have that permission before they begin to erect anything. And unless they change, correct me if I'm wrong, the location that they had decided on was the road going from SL 79 to the base. On the right-hand side, it's right past the 50 acres that the church has. That's the location they had picked. And I think, at some point, they never did get with me on the horses.
No, they never did either with me.
So, but the town, the discussion was while we were there, that they would need to get permission from the base and from FCC, which they said they have to do that no matter what.
Make a motion to approve the lease pending receipt of approval from Laughlin and FCC.
Second that.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Discussion item 42, discussion possible action regarding final approval of replat establishing lot 9R, block 3, Rio Diablo South subdivision out of lots 9, 10, block 3, Rio Diablo South subdivision, Del Rio, Texas.
This application consists in putting in lot 9 and 10 and Rio Diablo South subdivision. It was already approved by, State Land Use Commission January 25th, 2023. And this is the final approval. We already sent out notices and it's been on the county website for more than 30 days.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 43, discussion possible action regarding final approval of replat establishing lot lot 5R, block 4, Rio Diablo South subdivision out of lots 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Thank you. Motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second. Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 44, discussion possible action regarding final approval of replat establishing lot 24R, block 5, Rio Diablo South subdivision out of lots 24, 25, 26, block 5, Rio Diablo South subdivision.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 45, discussion possible action to ratify the bid opening date for bid 23-01 flight maintenance facility at Laughlin on 2/28/2023. This is due to the number of questions approved. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 46, discussion possible action to award JC Communications a Community Center Fiber Turnkey Job Price through co-op contract BIR-CPO-4785 in the amount of $70,611.14 and authorize county judge to sign upon review by the county attorney finding as approved previous commissioners court meeting 2/14/2023.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 47, discussion possible action to approve the renewal of our
Second, Judge.
motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? No. Okey dokey. Motion carries 5-0. Item 48, discussion possible action regarding transferring the rock saw rental from precinct 1 to precinct 2.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. Before I take a vote, it says discussion possible action regarding transferring the rock saw rental from precinct 1 to precinct 2. We had set aside $16,000 in rental money for precinct 2. Is that money going, how's this gonna work?
It depends if y'all want to transfer the money. The rental of the rock saw is $40,000.
And that's
And
because
depending-
we set aside enough money in precinct 1 to pay for the rentals. But I don't know if there's gonna be enough money with what we set aside in precinct 2 to pay for the rent.
And there's not enough money there, obviously, because we only had, I think, $16,000 or $17,000.
So the
It
rest of the
depends on how
money-
long you're gonna keep it. It's like 10,000 a week. So we could either,
I guess what I'm getting at is we already set money aside for precinct 1.
Yeah, I mean-
So therefore, we continue to use rental money out of precinct 1 that we set aside for rental of the rock saw. I just want to make sure that we're clear on where we're getting the money. Are y'all okay with that? Because it's not gonna touch any other money that we set aside except for rental.
But Judge, I thought when I made the motion of the 175, it was open for the water projects within the county.
We specifically set aside different amounts for everything. Am I correct?
that's correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
we probably did.
Well, probably, or did we?
We've got
We
so many
did.
sub-accounts and sub-accounts of projects and
Yeah,
accounts.
I guess what I'm getting at is the rental money should come out of whatever rental money we set aside for the rock saw. Because it was specific to a rock saw.
Which it is currently.
Yes. Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
All right. Motion is for it to come out of the rock saw account that was set aside for the rock saw. And a motion, Commissioner Flutters, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 49, discussion possible action to award Little Acre Nursery the installation of an irrigation system at Roy Muskies Park soccer field area in the amount of $45,183 and authorize county judge to sign.
This
After
was,
review of the county attorney.
that was the lowest bidder?
Yes, he was.
Motion?
Motion to approve, Judge.
Motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second.
Second.
Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 50, discussion possible action to authorize county judge to sign a service agreement acknowledging works acquiring pub
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action for approval to declare the following items as surplus property designated for property
Motion to
disposal.
approve.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 52, discussion possible action on allowing Babe Ruth Little League Ray Torres the usage of fairgrounds.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 53, discussion possible action on fire department helping Red Cross and small smokers.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. I had a conversation with Jerry on this the last time that we helped the Red Cross. Those fire alarms were done in the Cinegas area. I asked Jerry if they could tell us where they're gonna put them, or if the commissioners were gonna have say as to where they were gonna be put in. So I would recommend that y'all talk to Jerry, to see if there's a need in your community the last time, or in your areas. I don't know how many there is, but I would ask if y'all would visit with them. And I know that we've talked about, I need to go back and look about setting aside some money, $10,000 for smoke detectors, but I'll visit with Rob. Maybe if we're doing this, we can put it in conjunction with that. How come you're laughing? Why are you laughing? What'd I say? Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 54, discussion possible action.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Middleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 55, discussion possible action authorizing Sergio Frank Martinez to accept free racial profiling program.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Middleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Item 56, discussion possible action to approve the human.
Second, Judge.
Judge, I have a change to, letter N. It said resigned, it should have been promoted.
Motion accepts.
All right. A motion, Commissioner Middleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Nobody against. Motion carries 5-0. Item 57, discuss possible action on approval to convert position status of contract labor of 3 current hired laborers within precinct 4 to temporary or otherwise status. Also to hire 2 additional laborers as temporary for precinct 4. We moved, 2 or 3? Two. Okay, just try to get clear. 2 individuals from precinct 4 to go help precinct 1. These individuals were, contract labor. The concern came up that because we're using them for so long and we're moving them around, that title probably was not correct. Matt, you stop me at any point here. So at that time, did we need to move them to temporary? My question is, do we need to move those to temporary? What is the correct title that y'all would like to have on these individuals that were moved from precinct 4 to precinct 1? Somebody?
Temporary full-time. And the only reason is because they will be probably earn, overtime. Under contract labor, we can't pay overtime. So we'd be able to keep track of that OT under the,
Are you gonna have to put them on your insurance?
Sorry?
Are we gonna put them on
No,
insurance?
under temporary status, they are not on the insurance, they're not on retirement, they do not earn any kind of leave.
Covered under our workers' comp?
Workers' comp, yes.
Were they
But
covered
temporary
under-
status, they would leave when the project's done.
Were they covered under workers' comp when they were contracted?
If something would happen.
Yes.
probably is.
Yes.
And they'll be covered under unemployment too.
Yes.
Well, that was, yeah.
Which we're charged back down.
Yeah.
So.
So, you need a motion to make them from contract labor to temporary. Part-time. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second? All right. Temporary part-time or temporary full-time?
They're temporary full-time.
Full-time.
There's 2 different.
Yeah, there's a different motion, the motion said different though. Yeah, temporary full-time. Yes, sir. Now, the money. There was money set aside. There was, $10,000 set aside for precinct 1, 5,000 and change set aside for precinct 4. So for these individuals right here, the money should come out of the 5,000 set aside for precinct 4 because they're helping out at precinct, these people are not helping out at precinct 1.
Yes.
Okay. Is that part of your motion?
Comes out of precinct 1, right?
No, the money, because we set aside $10,000 for precinct 1 for your people.
Right.
Then there was another $5,000 set aside because precinct 4 was gonna go help y'all out there. Right? So that the money for these 2 would come out of that 5,000 set aside for precinct 4 to go help you out there, because if not, the 10,000, you're probably not gonna have enough money. Because now you've got 2 more people working and getting paid out of the precinct 2.
That's okay.
And
No, that's fine.
Well, it doesn't, it won't
No,
bother you.
no, it won't.
And I'll make that motion,
The
Judge.
2 new on precinct 4, where's that?
We're gonna get to that one.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that one. Let's just, little chunks here. If you'll make a motion.
Motion.
That'll work.
I'll second that.
I have a motion. Wardlaw, second. Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, now, there's another second part, is to hire 2 additional laborers as temporary for precinct 4. That right there was already money set aside, 30,000, which now there's about 16,000, if I'm not mistaken. That if he goes to hire 2 temporaries in that 16,000, he can go hire. All he needs is approval to go hire 2 more people, and the money to come out of the 16,000, or whatever that balance is today. On Friday was 16.
Yes.
I need a motion to hire 2 more individuals
for precinct 4 and the funds to come out of the 16,000 that is left.
Is that your motion, Judge?
Well,
you're making it.
I'll
second that.
I'll make a motion, to hire 2 more temporaries and the money to come out of whatever the balance is that's left out of the $30,000 that was set aside.
And then when it exceeds those amounts,
We're gonna keep track of it. We're not, we should be able to stop them because he's almost done.
Yes.
If we keep track of the dollars, we shouldn't exceed the 10,000, we shouldn't exceed the 5,000, and we shouldn't exceed
It should.
$16,000.
It should.
Still left.
okay.
All right. A motion by myself.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against?
Judge, and just for
Mas-
clarification,
Let's,
all these people are gonna be, I know, all these people are gonna be, in precinct 4 budget, correct?
either the 5 or the 16.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright.
Item 58, discussion possible action to ratify the volunteer job placement contract. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 59, discussion possible action on approval to determine where payment should be allocated for badges to access district court. The badges that we're talking about are the badges to get through the key.
Yes, sir.
Who makes those? I thought you made them.
We do.
You do.
It's been in my office for 3 years
Okay.
already.
So money for what? The actual badge?
So normally the way it works, these badges, we set them up in the system, in the software. They give employees access to the buildings. When they leave, they're supposed to return them, so we can recycle them. Well, sometimes people
Okay, so
don't
what do
return them.
you,
So we're down to 10 badges.
so you need money for the actual badge? How
And
much
they cost $450 for 100 badges.
Need a motion to, huh?
This has never been budgeted under me.
We need to get you $450.
Yes.
Motion to approve $450 out of contingency for badges for the district courts. Can we start charging these people that don't turn them back?
We should make it part of the policy.
Well, it is part of the policy, but they still don't turn them in.
Then we should pursue them in some way.
Yeah, we would need to know that information. We can probably take the last check.
Yeah.
If we're aware of that information.
Good work. Can you make sure that you get with Matt to make sure that we deduct?
$4.50 for each badge.
Does our policy state that if you don't return everything, we can charge you?
Well, doesn't that let me?
It doesn't yet.
Well, you need to make the change in the policy before you start sending the bill.
That would come in handy with the uniforms and shirts as well.
The policy committee needs to get together and make that change.
Give me a minute to read about it and then we'll figure it out.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 60, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Local Government Code A 551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege, B 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses 8, consultative litigation, C 551.072, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property and possible action, open session thereafter, D 551.073, regarding the negotiated contract, lease or value of real property. Thereafter, E 551.076 regarding security devices, security audit, and security personnel. F, who's gonna buy those? We're gonna go into executive session, if y'all will give us the room, and then we'll come back, no action will be taken in executive session. A lot of talking, but no action.
I've got you on just the stuff.
Anywhere that's there.
Yeah, sure, we come in on.
I like this thing. I can't cause the lights on. We're gonna go back to someone, number 8, is it? Yeah, we'll go back to number 8. $11:56, court's back non-session. We're gonna go back to item 8, discussion possible action to approve the auditor's report. So motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion passes 5-0. The other item that was tabled, no actions needed. David? No action, Judge. Okay. We will move on. Move it back there. 61, Commissioners' comments. 62, County Judge's comments. None. 63, meeting adjourned. Y'all have a good day. Thank y'all.